Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Brendan Neef, he is a regular on The Price of Business, and Victory Transportation Systems is his company, victorytrucks.com. We have him on. I have him on for a lot of different reasons, and I, for one, am really grateful to get him on, and I'm also really love the feedback I've been getting from others who've heard Brendan on the program. He brings certainly a huge amount of wisdom, insight, foresight, but he's incredibly teachable, and you could tell because of how many resources he talks about that builds him personally in order to build his business. And to me, that shows a lot of healthy humility. That's a part of his story as well. He has just a lot of gratitude for his success. Brendan, as always, good to talk to you, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for the kind words. And also, I appreciate the being on the show with you guys as well. I've had fun doing it.
Yeah, you've done a great job. Brendan, talk a little bit. First of all, let's go ahead and give the elevator speech. I always like to begin with that of the company.
Okay, we're a hot shot provider here in Houston with our only location here in the Houston area. And what our company does is provide expedited or same-day service to different industries across Houston, supply houses, electrical distributors, pipe valves, fittings, rental companies, all different types of steel, coils, things like that. Any size loads, a pickup truck up to a tractor trailer do have some heavy haul capabilities. And then we have a logistics division as well, so we can help our customers with some other transportation moves from other parts of the country, maybe inbound to Houston that we don't have trucks in that area, but we can third party move freight as well. So, and we do that, and that's what we've been doing for the last 13 years.
Yeah, and people I'm sure are interested. How do you choose those third party partners to work with?
So what we do is we go through a screening process of there's a couple of source boards where you can look for trucks. If you've got a load, say you had a load in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for a customer that wants to go to Seattle, Washington. So if we didn't have a provider that we knew of in that area, then we'd look on a source board or a load board, find a truck that wants to get back in that Seattle area, and then we would review. You can review, so people put how those carriers or truckers provide service, show up for the load. You check their safety rating, you check their insurance, their DOT scores, things of that nature. So the more screenings you can do and the more vetting you can do, the better for you, or you can have it to where you just want to move the load and you'll take any carrier you can provide. Our process is to get as much information as we can on a new carrier to make sure we're putting that load on a reputable, high-integrity trucker or carrier and hopefully be able to get it to where its destination is and safe and in compliance. So there's a process you can go through. It's all about how much detail the company wants to go through and the processes they want to go through and steps to find out as much information as they can.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And so you're making sure that when people hire you, they're going to have the same quality of values throughout the entire process, regardless of who's actually fulfilling it.
Correct, and that's our process, and that's our philosophy is to treat it just like it was our own truck as much as we can. You do have some different obstacles you're going to run through when you outsource it or you third party move it, but you can take as many measures as you can to help make the transition and make the load smooth as possible, and hopefully everything goes according to plan.
Yeah,
and you put it on a good carrier at the end of the day.
So when you reach the halfway point of the year, which we're already quickly approaching, scary to think about it, my friend.
Yeah.
Tell me about what goes through a company like yours' mind at this point.
Gosh, right now, for us, I would say we all know Houston's probably feeling the pinch of the depressed oil pricing and what the challenges and the turbulent times that the oil field's going through. And then you really realize how the oil field and the energy sector really has outreach tentacles in Houston all over in different facets. And so we're seeing it. And trucking overall is in Houston and throughout the country, talking to peers, talking to different people, is down. And so, we're having a year where we're struggling a little bit as far as the revenue, but, we're finding ways to create new opportunities and we're looking to do other things too, but mostly make sure we have our ducks in a row. We make sure we got our overhead in line with our revenue. And, just you sometimes got to buckle the belt and tighten it up and get through a turbulent time and figure out how to get through it with a positive mindset. So that's what we're doing right now. And focusing on what we can control and not focusing on the other measures that are out of our control.
Right, because focusing on those are just an extraordinary waste of time.
Well, it doesn't do any good, and you're not going to change it. So, yes, it's turbulent for trucking, and it's challenging. So, we've had some setbacks with clients, their business dropping off. So you go try to find new clients, maybe look into different revenue streams as well. However, you do what you can to get through it. Put yourself in a position for when it comes back, you can do some things, or you can look to where you can find some opportunities through some distressed companies that might not be able to take care of their customers, or maybe an acquisition. So you just keep your ears open and your eyes out there looking and see what you can find.
Yeah, that's a good point. The reality is that, in fact, earlier on the program, earlier this week, rather, I had Robert Kiyosaki on the program, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, whom I'm sure you're familiar with. And, he was talking about that. Times like the difficult times we're in are as much times as opportunity as they are for pearl. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that's what you're all about, isn't that right?
Yeah, opportunities and create opportunities if you can. Do what you can to make new opportunities happen. And, again, keeping our team focused on the things that are in our control. We can still give our customers a great experience. We can, there's a lot of good people out there, so you might look to hire top talent. And there's a lot of people out there that can't maybe provide the service to their clients that they've been used to providing. And so you can swoop in there and maybe find some new opportunities by landing new business or creating some acquisition type situations out there as well.
So what's your advice to the business owner out there that's choosing to freak out right now?
The thing that I have learned in going through the second time for me, this time around, going through a turbulent time. The first time, I didn't handle it very well. I didn't act fast enough. My overhead stayed high. My revenue dropped down. So for me, it's the first thing that I would say is make sure your overhead and your expenses are in line with your revenue. Because if you're a $20 million company and all of a sudden you drop down to a $15, $12 million company, well, then you've got to get your overhead and your payroll and your expenses to that level to at least hold ground. The first thing you want to do is get to a level playing field, get back to where you're stabilized. And then once you've stabilized, it shows, okay, it's not as bad. We can work through it. We got ourselves stabilized. Cash flow's taking care of the business. And then you get focused on finding new opportunities. Still focus on the turbulent time, but don't put all your emphasis on that. Focus on how you can come out of it now that you've created some level ground for yourself, and then figuring out new opportunities. How can your team help you find some new opportunities? So those would be the first two things that somebody that's going through this for the first time is get your overhead in line with your revenue, tell your team what's going on, be very transparent, keep them in the loop, and then start focusing on new opportunities.
Yep, absolutely. Those are great words to live by. Why I absolutely love having you on the program, Brendan. And I want to encourage the listener out there, to learn more at victorytrucks.com. And, not only send me feedback, I appreciate the good feedback we get on Brendan, but send them feedback as well, that they like what they hear. All I hear is great stuff, Brendan.
Sure, they can reach me at LinkedIn, or they can email me at bneef@victorytrucks.com. If I can help them in any way, or any of your listeners in any way, I'd be more than happy to do that.
All right. Keep up the great work.
You guys have a great week. Thank you.
You bet. When we come back, we're going to have more for you right here on The Price of Business.